Welcome to Key Conversations, the podcast where we talk about all things that can help you level up your music career. This season, we are doing the 12 days of Amplify leading up to the holidays, highlighting successes of independent musicians that are part of the monthly mastermind Amplify. I hope you enjoy, and if you're a musician interested in joining, head to inthekey.co/amplify. Let's get started. Yes, it's all working. Amazing. We're here, day 10 of the 12 days of Amplify. This is going back so fast. And today we are talking to one of the most amazing fiddle players on the planet, Miss Katherine Moller. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I am well, thank you.
I'm so happy to have you. Thanks for doing this today.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm excited to be here.
And tell everyone where here is.
Here is in rural New Brunswick in Canada.
So amazing. The pictures you post are just epic, and I feel like totally on brand with your Celtic music, just the ocean and the rocky, moody mists and things like that. I love it. It's all so cool. You have had quite the year.
Certainly had quite the year.
When so many people are saying this was the worst year ever, would you go so far as to say the opposite?
Absolutely, but it's really hard to say that right now. It's very hard to say 2020 has been the best year of my life. It is absolutely true, and it all started in March. And it's just gotten better. And it feels like a controversial thing to say at the moment.
Have you said this is the best year of my life, and has anyone given you massive evil looks or thrown darts at you or anything?
No, but it's every time I talk to someone I haven't seen, they're like, "Oh, how's your year going?" Right? Like there's a lot of that concern that, "Oh, you're a self-employed musician. Are you do you still have food on your table?" Right? Like that's the feel that I get when I talk to people.
Yeah, and you're like, "Yes, I am. I'm eating well. I ration out 3 apples a day. It's great." You just go deep there. All right. I'm so excited to talk to you because you have taken the bull by the horns in such an amazing way. And you also had yourself well set up, which is kind of something that I haven't talked to on any of these is really, how do you set yourself up so that you are kind of bulletproof like you discovered you are? So if you would be willing to share what are the first 3 things, because I know there's a lot of stuff. What are 3 things that have you say this is the best year?
Well, my first 3 things. My online teaching has grown immensely. This is something I've been trying to start for years, and the world caught up to me this year. So that has been amazing.
Great.
Learning that I can pivot. I have always told myself the story that I don't like surprises and I don't adjust well and I don't deal well with the unknown. And this year has proved that to all not be true at all.
Love it.
Yeah, I know you asked for 3. Those are 2 really big things.
They are really big things. The being able to just turn your whole entire teaching business into an online business and save yourself how many hours of driving was it?
Oh yeah. So I live an hour outside of the town where I used to drive to teach every single day, 5 days a week, not every single day. And now I drive to town 1 day a week. So I now have 10 extra hours that I'm not on the road, which is absolutely incredible.
So awesome. Amazing. And was turning your teaching from in-person to online, was that the pivot, or were there other pivots that you sort of tackled?
Well, so there are a couple of aspects to my online teaching. I've been teaching private lessons online through Zoom for a while because I've had students who've moved, and I've told them, I've said, "Hey, we don't actually have to stop working together. We can do this through Zoom." So 2 weeks before the shutdown, I wrote to all of my current in-person students and I said, "Hey, we're going to shut down. It's inevitable. This is what we're doing. We're moving online. We're using Zoom. This is a program I've used. Here's how you use it. And so when the shutdown started, my students all moved really easily. And it wasn't, so many of my friends were calling their students saying, oh, do you want to do online lessons? And lost a huge number of students. Whereas for mine, I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is how
I love that. You're like, this is the option. This is the way. For anyone that watches The Mandalorian, that's like they're saying this is the way. And it's not like you're bullying them into it. You just shepherded them into the next phase of their learning, which is so empowering for them. They didn't have to think about it and hem and haw. You're just like, and you gave them everything that they needed to do it powerfully and to do it and be comfortable with the technology. And I'm sure that was a gap for some people. And
Yes,
it sounded
absolutely.
like you really closed that gap as best as you could. And yeah, I love that. I love that you were just willing to jump in and do that. So brilliant. Okay. So you said there were several phases or several elements of your online teaching. So that's one,
Right.
is getting your students to be virtual without the drama of going virtual. So check. What else?
Then the other, I have an online fiddle class and an online fiddle community. And I've been running these for years. And there's always been a struggle where I had to, first of all, convince people that I can teach them how to fiddle online and then also sell the courses. And now, where everyone has moved online, this part has gone away, right? Because people now know that you can learn an instrument online. There are all sorts of ads. My Facebook feed is filled with ads for learning guitar online, for learning voice online, for learning piano online. Like this is now a thing.
Right.
So instead of having to sell both of these things, I only have to sell this one. I only have to sell my product. And so that has been amazing. And we have tripled, I would say, easily more than tripled. We've more than tripled the community. And the other, I'd say we've had like 6 times the sales that I had before the pandemic started in the actual course. So, it's just the growth has been amazing. And that's when I said that the world has caught up with me. That's what I mean. Like this whole, ever since I started taking courses, I'm a total course junkie, and I've been taking courses online since 2012. And I'm sure you could do it before then, but that's when I got into taking courses online and learning from people who live in New York and California and, wherever. And so at that point, I was like, oh, I could do that. I could be teaching online. And then in 2016, I actually launched my online academy. And when the pandemic started, I have to admit, I had this little moment of, I lost my advantage. Right? But it's not, I didn't lose my advantage. I just no longer have to sell that you can do it.
Yes, you totally gained the culture.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. Before we go any further, I want to tell everyone where to go to find out about your lessons and your programs and listen to your music, which we'll talk about. I want to talk about your music. And I know you did some performing virtually, which was amazing early on. But where do we go to get all the things Katherine Moller?
KatherineMoller.ca.
Amazing. I'm going to spell that out for people that are just listening to the podcast. We're going to go to KatherineMoller.ca, as in Canada. So that's where we're going to go right now. That has all the info that you need. What's the number one thing you would want someone to do when they land there?
So there are 2 things depending on who you are.
Okay.
Everyone can join the community. If you do, I send out a sampler from all of my albums. I've recorded 6 albums. And so anyone who joins my music community, not just fiddlers,
Right.
I send you MP3s and the story behind a track off of each album.
Very cool.
And then if you're also a fiddler, you get the sheet music. Well, you get the sheet music whether you're a fiddler or not, but you get the sheet music for
if you're a fiddler, you get to use the sheet music. Great.
And then if you are a fiddler, then there's some links there where you can sign up to try out working with me as well.
Amazing. All right. So if you are a musician, there's some cool stuff there. If you are a fiddler or want to be a fiddler, and then if you are just a fan or a future fan, which everyone that's listening, you're just going to go and you're going to go get a bundle of songs, and it's all you playing violin. It's instrumental music, correct?
It is all me playing. Yep, all instrumental.
Amazing. Yeah, whenever you play the In the Key concert series, which is our last Friday of every month, anytime you play, it's always like, what a great way to enter the weekend and the next month. It's always so inspiring. And let's see. Michael says sheet music either way, very cool. I think that's really cool. So I think I'm doing that right now for my luminary list too. I gave some sheet music away, and I was like, well, how do I what if people don't want it? I'm like, everybody gets it. So what? Don't print it out.
Okay. Don't click on the link. Don't take it. It's okay.
Exactly. I love it. So speaking of music, funny that should come up on a call like this. Tell us what happened for you and your own music projects right off the bat, because you were one of the people. You're one of the reasons I went daily in Amplify, because you were like, I just lost $6,000 of gigs, or so. It was some like crazy big number, and I was like, oh, people are going to be like scrambling hardcore, so we can either do this powerfully or we could do this from a like victim place. And so there were many other stories from people that were already in the community that I was hearing, that I was like, how can I support? I don't know how to support, but let's just get together and brainstorm. So I remember your story very, very clearly early March, when you were like, I think I just lost $6,000 this week. So tell us what happened, because you turned that around from a performance standpoint very quickly.
Yeah. So I had a tour planned in New England that was clearly canceled. I was in the middle of a recording project, and Cheryl talked me off the ledge on that one, because, $6,000 disappears, and that's not a small amount of money.
And those were all from gigs that were going to be paying you fees.
Those were all from gigs. And the way my year works, January and February, because I live in the world of snow and ice, I don't tend to book a whole lot of gigs. And then March, being a Celtic musician, March is the beginning of my year. Right. As far as performing goes, St. Patty's is always a big one. I perform with Symphony New Brunswick, and that's when we start our shows again. And so I'd just gone through the lean months, I thought, and I was headed into the really good months where I was going to make all my money, March, April, May. I was going to make all my money to live on through the summer, through gigs. And so that all disappeared. But Cheryl talked me off the ledge with my recording project, and I did a hugely successful fan funding right in the middle of a pandemic. I released my album in the middle of a pandemic. I was invited to be a part of an online concert series with Music New Brunswick, which is a local music organization, and that was a paid performance. I was invited to be part of the National Arts Centre concert series. And so that was a series that was broadcast across Canada, and that was another paid performance opportunity. So even though I wasn't leaving home, I was still finding opportunities to perform online and even getting paid for them. I performed at a library in Maine. That was another paid performance. So, I was still able to do things. And I released my album, since I clearly couldn't tour. I released my album, and that's when I did that cluster of concerts. I did the one for the National Arts Centre. I did one for a group out of the UK. I did one for the library in Maine. So I felt like I had an international album release tour.
Yeah.
From my house.
Yeah. Oh, so amazing. It's so amazing that you were like, I just lost $6,000 of gigs. And then within 1 or 2 months, you made from the gigs alone, you made that back, right? But in very different ways. And tell us, how many people watched that live show, the Canada wide? Have you checked the views on that? I
haven't checked recently. I know it was over 5,000. And, when am I going to play for over 5,000 people? Really?
It's so amazing that, you saw all the silver linings. And the cool thing was you got to see them very soon in this process. And I think that just what's possible was so affirming, that it was like, oh, I don't need to get like, I mean, anyone else that lost, like that puts all their, I'm going to say, financial eggs in the 3-month basket of merch through May and then loses them, like anyone else would have just like crawled under a rock, I think. So you're just like, yeah, no. So extraordinary. I mean, so many reasons why this is just like incredibly inspiring. And on your website, is it easy to connect to Facebook, find those shows and see some live performances? Yes. Amazing. Yeah. So again, everyone, it's KatherineMoller.ca, KatherineMoller.ca. So go there and just take a look at what it looks like. I feel like, Katherine, you represent so many musicians in that we are teaching and performing and recording and wearing multiple hats. So you just really represent a large portion of independent artists, I think. And so your story is so incredible how you can now, with ease, other than the potential weird looks you get, say, yeah, 2020 was my best year ever. It's so amazing. So thank you so much for sharing this. Is there anything else that you want to share that I haven't asked you about, or anything else you want to tell anyone about?
What 2020 has done for me is it has shown me that I don't have to do anything. And what I mean by that, and I think this is probably common for a lot of musicians, is that we do all the gigs because we think we have to, right? We think, oh, how am I going to, get my 3-apple ration for today? Oh, I have to do this gig. I have to do that. I have to. And I no longer have to. Now I look at my schedule, I look at offers, I go, oh, does this align with what I'm doing? Does this align with what I want? Will I have the energy to do this? Is this something that makes sense? And that is so freeing. And I'm tearing up over it.
Oh my gosh. You get to choose what you do day to day. Oh, Katherine, that is the dream. I'm so proud of you. It's been such a joy to watch. And honestly, I think it's been a big motivator for me and so many of the other musicians in Amplify. And the other thing that I just want to point out about your year is how generous you've been with sharing vulnerably inside of our group. I think you really were one of the people that helped other people notice their own wins just by sharing yours and not having I don't want other people to feel bad about this. You're like, I'm sharing this because I need to celebrate it for me and maybe it will provide something. And I think it 100,000% did. So you're such a staple. And also when musicians, if you're listening, when you get into Amplify, you might get a sneak peek at Katherine's amazing, like the most beautiful bullet journals you'll ever see in your life. Everyone's like, Katherine, can you show us again? Can you show us again? They put anything I've ever written to shame. Like, you don't have my handwriting. Anyway. So my point being, thank you for being a part of this group and for sharing and for just being such an example of what is possible. You are really extraordinary.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for being here. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. And happy solstice. That's why I picked this day. It's the shortest day of the year, an important Celtic time. So that is why I picked December 21st to be with you.
Yes, we are recording this on December 21st. Which is the solstice. I did a solstice meditation last night. It was very cool. So yes, happy solstice. And it only gets lighter and lighter from here, people.
That's right.
Yay. Thanks so much, Katherine.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, that's it for today's 12 Days of Amplify session. Thank you so much for listening. And if you are a musician and you're like, yes, I need to be part of this community, go to inthekey.co/amplify. I will see you there.